Welcome. Thank you for joining me. I'm Rachel Mann. I'm going to talk today about destiny lines, in particular two destiny lines that are becoming more and more obvious as these past number of years have unfolded, as well as through current events in Ukraine and with Ukraine and Russia. What I want to do is to name these two destiny lines. So and to explain what destiny lines are. So a destiny line is a pathway of light, almost like an energetic cord that, let's say for an individual human being, when a person is born, when a person emerges as this tiny infant out of their mother's womb, what happens at the same time is that these luminous cords of light go shooting out from what is called the destiny tunnel. The destiny tunnel is, in a way, the inverse of that tunnel of white light that people often report seeing when they've had a near-death experience and they've moved out of their bodies and they see this white tunnel stretching towards greater and greater layers of light. And that is, in a way, the way their soul and spirit is exiting the physical garment to go back up into the luminous realms and remerge with their soul in spirit. The destiny tunnel is actually, in a way, just the opposite of it. It is a tunnel of light, but it is coming in the opposite direction. It is coming in the direction from the place where we incubate on a soul level in spirit and decide what lifetime we are going to live, what our incarnation is going to be like, what will be the potential joys and challenges, the potential learning, the potential relationships that we will have, and so on. So that is what a destiny line is. And as such, depending upon the causes and conditions of our soul's choices, and as well as the family that we were born into, the time in history, the society we were born into, the kinds of challenges our families might have, our ancestors in those family bloodlines might have had, and so forth, we will then emerge and tend to follow on a particular destiny line, what you might call the most probable destiny line. And that destiny line may or may not be, however, the most optimal, the most positive, the most fulfilled destiny line that we could manifest in our lives. Because when we emerge into physical incarnation, we have free will. This is a given. As individuals, we have free will. Now, that means that at any point in the movement of our lives forward from past, present, into future, we will come to what I would call key or critical choice points. At each of those choice points, we will generally have a decision, and we've all experienced this, where we can go down one path or another path, or we may have more than two decisions. A decision might be something like, am I going to go to college or not? Or a choice point can be made for us. For instance, let's say a child in school, because of their gender, because of their race, because of their socioeconomic class, they are not encouraged to pursue higher education, for instance. They're automatically funneled into some other form of trade, or they're even discouraged for going any further than high school. This does happen. It still happens every day. So what happens then is, as a result of human illusions as a result of human prejudices and biases, which arises out of conditioning, which arises out of a kind of limited consciousness, we can end up on a destiny line that isn't the most optimal, isn't the most fulfilled, isn't the most creative. But the amazing thing about free will and about the malleable energetic nature of reality, and therefore the malleable and energetic nature of who we are, we can, in fact, shift those destiny lines. Now, into a more optimal future, all right? So let me reel this back and talk about the destiny lines of groups, the destiny lines of whole groups. So on a soul level, we're not just incarnated in a vacuum, we're incarnated within a web of relationships. And those relationships start on a soul level. We are a part of a soul group. And just as in human society, we can shift from one group to another or decide we're going to play with these kids or those kids, or we can move into a new neighborhood and develop new friends, or we can get a new job and have new colleagues, co-workers to create something in service of others and so on. We also choose on a soul level, as part of a soul group, that we are going to participate in the creation of something, the creation of a family, the creation of a community, a neighborhood, the creation of a racial, cultural, or ethnic group, and even the creation of a nation. So, and basically the principles of destiny lines are exactly the same in this scenario as the destiny line of an individual, in the sense that all of us have free will once we are born. All of us have free will to interact with one another. All of us have free will to interact with one another as we see fit. And it can happen that we have conflicts or differences from others within our soul group, and we may therefore go in a different direction than another group within that soul group is going. All right, so what this also means is that humanity as a whole, all the human beings who are living on this planet in this time, have also, on a soul level, made an agreement to be here right now. And obviously, if we were doing humanity's astrological chart, it would be rather hard to pinpoint a specific day, date, time, year in which humanity as we know it today, with our particular physical form, our particular ability to speak with all the many different languages and cultures and just the amazing diversity of the human family going back thousands upon thousands, hundreds of thousands of years. Thousands of years. So, but the truth is that yes, we are on a journey together. And just as with individuals and with smaller groups of human beings, soul families, we also have destiny lines, probable and possible destiny lines. So many spiritual traditions, and I'm particularly connected into Native American tradition, spirituality, through a number of Native teachers that I have been, who have graced my life and who have taught me, talk about the fact that right now humanity is at one of these major choice points. We are in a major transition between an age of some 20,000 years in which we have been living out of the illusion of separation. And as such, out of that deep embedded, the most deep sense of separation from creation, separation from a knowing of our oneness and unity through spirit, even, diversity with all its diversity, but in the fact that we are all in spirit, beautiful, valuable, that we are all here to create a beautiful reality together. This is what had been forgotten. And out of this has arisen a deep, deep shadow. A deep shadow wherein there is a belief that some are more valuable than others, that some are more worthy than others, and wherein individuals, groups, nations have believed it is needed and completely justified to act with aggression towards others based upon this deep illusion that we are separate and that out of that separateness we have to compete for resources. We have to compete for land, compete for even air and water, and so on. And right now we're seeing the culmination of this age of separation. And we are therefore moving towards a higher destiny line of an enduring peace and a future of creative collaboration and cooperation within diversity that is embracing of the knowing that we have more to gain by working with one another, by respecting Mother Earth, by seeking to live in harmony and balance with the earth and all of the beautiful creatures, beings, as well as all the different elemental energies, the waters and the wind and the air. And we are merging into this new place. It is coming, and I firmly believe it. But in the meantime, what we are seeing right now in the world is two very clear possible destiny lines. All around the world, over the past couple of decades, we have seen a rise in the will to authoritarianism. We have seen this will to continue the poisonous story, the toxic story, that there is only one way to live, only one way to express our humanity, only one way to worship, only one type of government to lead, only a particular kind of expression of gender, only one kind, one way to love, and so on, wherein some are seen as lesser than or as outright wrong, or even deemed by some as evil, as destructive. And it doesn't matter what nation it is, what country it is, what religion it is, what group it is, we see the arising of this phenomenon all over the planet. And we also see arising out of this deep shadow that is mind of separation, mind of domination. We see arising out of this much aggression, where certain individuals, groups, nations aggress upon others. So that is one destiny line that we are seeing, and this is an old destiny line. This is a destiny line that was activated many thousands upon thousands of years ago. This is not to say that every culture, every group, every community on the planet has lived this way. But certainly what we have seen, particularly in the last 500 years, and particularly really going back several millennia, is that this hard destiny line has infiltrated practically every corner of the planet. Now, the other destiny line is a destiny line in which the human family understands that everyone and everything is absolutely equal, that everything and everyone has a right to life, a right to home, to peace, to safety, to good food, and a right to express their own cultural, spiritual, and religious ways within the families that they grow. Families of choice, families of blood. And at the same time that in this sovereignty and equality, that we also still live in interconnection with one another. And therefore, part of this other destiny line is the growing and flourishing of ways to work through the inevitable conflicts and differences that will arise when we live in communities that are diverse, within families that are diverse in their ways of expressing each individual, their ways of expressing their individual authenticity, their absolute sacredness. And this destiny line also embraces the truth that each of us deserve to have this kind of authentic sovereignty in the authentic expression of our individualized presence. And that when we each can grow in this authentic way, in touch with our true feelings, in touch with the mission and purpose that we came here to fulfill. And that mission and purpose is always anchored in love, whether it gets distorted out of forgetfulness or greed or fear when a human being comes here. But we each have that source in love. And more children are being born who know this love, who understand another way, a way that is co-creative, that is in wholeness, in harmony and balance with the earth, with other human beings, and with all those we share this planet with. And that this destiny line is a destiny line to a time of incredible peace, incredible creativity, incredible co-creation. It is leading to a world that is infused with beauty. Don't get me wrong, this is not a world without differences, diversity, and conflict. Absolutely not. I no more believe that my spiritual way, my view of the cosmos, of creator spirit, is the only way. But what I do know is that it is a way, and that there are many people like me who resonate with this way, and I know that I am able to live perfectly in harmony with other people who have their way, a way of love, a way of compassion, a way of light. So we see these two destiny lines. What is also happening in the shift of the ages is that this deep shadow, which is a powerful archetypal shadow. It's an archetypal shadow that we've seen unfold in many wars, in much violence, in again, dictatorships, authoritarianism. It is a shadow that has arisen in the appearance of hatred of others because they are different. It is the shadow that says, no, we are not really equal because we are better, or there is one way that is better. That is the deep shadow, and that is what is being transmuted in this time. What that also means is that every time we encounter the shadow, and we are encountering it intensely now on a daily basis, COVID was a time to see this deep shadow arise. Here in the United States, the appearance of a leader who really embraced other dictators and who said that there is only one way, and who fostered and built up a story of violence. This particular leader is simply a manifestation of that shadow, and that shadow is what we are here to heal. What we are here to awaken to and to confront. So, in the shamanic path that I walk of sacred activism for peacemaking, one thing that I embrace is that, when we heal our own wounds of trauma, because all of us are impacted either in subtle ways or overt ways by all this archetypal energy of mind of separation that exists in shadow, that we are transmuting it for our family, for our ancestors, and for society as a whole. And as we do this personal individual healing, we are therefore also not only activating a more positive destiny line for our own lives, but we are also activating, filling up our own individual authenticity, and therefore our ability to be in good service towards shifting the collective destiny lines of humanity. When we also step up to be sacred activists, and this can mean many things. First, to do your own inner work. Second, to work on healing the wounds of the ancestors. The ancestors who all, for many of us, were born into systems where this old destiny line of mind of separation, mind of domination, and to heal those ancestral lineages. And then in so doing, to do ceremonies of prayer, to build love light, and to build the great wave of peace that is building, that is exponentially being amplified, the momentum of which is being exponentially pushed forward. That when we do these things in a spiritual way, in a sacred context, we are sacred activists for peacemaking. And as a result then, in whatever way we decide to be in service to others, whether as a healer, a therapist, whether in entrepreneurial ventures, in creating NGOs or nonprofits, or in working explicitly on the awakening and healing of our own family, or whether we decide to write a book or do art. And the point is that these do not have to be public projects. They can be private projects or projects that are shared with just loved ones and friends and family, or within a very small community. Anything we do that creates beauty, that conjures up the medicine of healing that is natural within us and that is naturally always a part of anything creative that we do, of any action that we take that is in service of healing, that is in service of turning a tide of aggression back or turning a tide of peace forward, then we are, each of us, individually and collectively, ensuring that this destiny line into a new era of harmony and balance, generosity, love, compassion, and peace will be strongest, so that the children who live today will live in a world of abundance and beauty, live in a world where they are safe to be authentic, where they are safe to love who they wish, and where they are safe to create even more beauty out of their unique individualized presence. So, I call forth all of you who carry this deep wisdom, the wisdom of what I have just shared, and who know that you carry within you a medicine of sacred activism, to come forward, do this good work in whatever domain you feel called to, inner and or outer, in your family, in your community or communities, in your nation, and even planetary. It is going to happen. And we, in the meantime, must give a lot of compassion and love to ourselves, because all of us are emerging and have emerged out of this illusion of separation. And all of us, every single one, will eventually emerge into beauty, compassion, love, and awakened heart. May it be so. Aho.